Hello, sports fans, one and all, and welcome to another episode of 101 Sports. I'm Greg Brzozowski.
And I'm Jackson Brodie. We've got a great show for you today, so let's kick things off with the starting five.
With Duke beating UNC on a last-second buzzer beater in their last meeting, another chapter was added to the great rivalry that is known as the Tobacco Road matchup. Now, Jackson, this got us thinking, is Duke-UNC the best rivalry right now in sports?
No, I'm staying with Yankees-Red Sox.
Okay.
It goes back, Duke-UNC goes back to the 60s. This goes back to the 1920s. You've got obviously the intense games. You've got the brawls. You've got the Curse of the Bambino. Everything that you can encompass into a
history's
rivalry.
Certainly there, but
Absolutely.
Jackson, I cannot deny that rivalry's gotten a little stagnant in the past couple of years. The players like each other too much. It's missing the Pedro Martinez's and just the controversy that came in the early 2000s. It's a little slow now. Duke-UNC, after that Austin Rivers buzzer beater, it was amazing to get to watch that. And the amount of just back and forth between those two fans and the fact that they play each other every year in such an intense game, I think you got to give the nod to Tobacco Road.
If nothing else, they're two great rivalries. Obviously, two separate sports, one pro, one college, a few differences, but regardless, as you said, two great rivalries.
Yeah.
The great Memphis basketball program is set to move into the Big East. So, Greg, what are your thoughts on this transition?
You know, it's just the Big East trying to fill the holes of their ever-depleting football teams as they're going off to the ACC and the Big 12 and wherever else it is. With West Virginia, Syracuse, and Pitt leaving, they're trying to bring Memphis in, another Conference USA team. It's great for the basketball we've talked about.
That's right.
It's going to be really good for basketball because this is a basketball conference, but football, Jackson, it's a joke.
Greg, when I see this, I think, show me the money. It makes total sense for Memphis. You get the exposure. Obviously, the money's going to come in, and who cares about the initial fee to pay to leave Conference USA right now? I think it's worth it, and they've got the great basketball program to bring over to the Big East. It makes sense, in my opinion.
Look, when you had Calipari, though, that was still a team that was getting tons of exposure. Just now, adding them, the football stuff, it makes no sense. That football is awful. The controversial and sometimes aloof Ricky Williams has retired from the NFL. Jackson, what will you remember the most about Ricky now that he's done?
As much as I want to say the glorious times of him at Texas or the accomplishments he had, I think he's a sad reminder that of the pressure that we put on our athletes. This is a guy he's been diagnosed with society disorder, or I should say social disorders, and it's sad of what came to be of this man.
It is, because this was a guy who was so hyped, amazing running back coming out of Texas. The Saints trading their entire draft for him. But I agree with you. I'm going to remember more from the stuff off the field, the drug use, the retiring from the NFL early to his prime. It's what we're going to call him for.
Regardless, I think you and I could both agree it's a sad story. Now, the New York Knicks, a much happier story. The New York Knicks have been taken over by Tim Tebow, or I should say Jeremy Lin. He's the talk of New York City, and basketball fans everywhere cannot get enough of Linsanity, as they say. So, Greg, you'll lead it off. Your thoughts on Linsanity, Linning, the whole thing?
Dude, what can you say about the guy? That hasn't been said on Twitter by every other analyst.
That's
this is great for basketball. The Harvard grad, Jeremy Lin, coming in. You talked about the puns and the way that this guy's captivated America. You got to be loving it, Jackson.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I can only imagine what it's like to be in New York City, around Madison Square Garden right now, the energy. I just read a quote a little while ago from David Stern saying how great it is for the league. Yeah. He has the #1 selling jersey, I believe, in the NBA right now.
It's unbelievable.
His brand is worth $14 million. Can you believe that? I mean, like, this great, I guess, from zero to hero.
Yeah, I mean, look, and it's not like he's playing badly. Like, the guy is dominating.
He outplayed Kobe
his
the other
first
night.
four starts of his NBA career, he averaged more points per game than any player in the league's history since the NBA-ABA merger. That's LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Dirk Nowitzki, whoever. Jeremy Lin leads that now.
It's not just he's played solidly and the Knicks have started winning. He's been playing above any level that anybody thought he could play at.
Unbelievable. It's great to get to watch.
Absolutely.
After the Patriots Super Bowl loss at the hands of the New York Football Giants, Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski was seen dancing at a Patriots after party. Jackson, what do you make of Gronk's dancing to try and dance away the Patriots' sorrows? I
liken this to a story that I know in 1997 after the Yankees lost in the American League Championship Series. David Cohn, the Yankees pitcher at the time, had a party or whatnot, and George Steinbrenner, the Yankees owner, found out and he was mad. He was mad at Cohen, and I can see why. The night after, there's so much money and time put into all this. This isn't just a casual beer league softball game. This is a big deal. There's a lot of time, money, and everything invested
It's
into
arguably
this.
the biggest game Gronk will ever play in his life. If the Patriots never get back, and with Tom Brady, that's
and it's not like he contributed in that game
Exactly.
either.
The guy was hurt, but I will argue it from the other side. What do you want him to do? Is it make it better for Pats fans that he goes to his room to sulk after the loss? Does that change the score whatsoever? No. The guy's trying to blow off steam.
Yes.
He was clearly frustrated not being at full strength. I can give him that, but clearly we handle losing differently.
You have to take that we do, but I think he needs to remember there's a time and a place for some things.
It's very true.
Where there are people taking photos, your shirt's off, your ankle looks absolutely fine.
Not the time to be party rocking.
Absolutely. It's time for us to take our first break, but when one-on-one returns, we will be joined by our college basketball experts to discuss Big Ten or Big 12. Stay tuned.
Oh my gosh. Sam, that division's on the rise, right?
This is why I'm an MLB expert.
Oh, hold on. What are you doing?
Dude.
What?
Welcome back to 101 Sports. As we're ready to talk some college basketball, I'm joined by Melissa Connor and making his one-on-one debut, George Adams. Now, guys, Duke-UNC was the biggest story of last week with that amazing matchup. But, George, did Duke deserve to win?
Absolutely not.
Ooh, wow, okay.
Look, let's look at it. With, I think it was 2:10 left on the clock. UNC up 10. You know, good basketball teams don't blow that kind of lead. But then I think the game turned into a kind of 6-on-4 game because Tyler Zeller kind of changed uniforms there for
Tyler
Carolina.
Zeller, well then that means Duke does deserve to win. Tyler Zeller messed up and Duke took the opportunity.
But
they were making those threes like
he
crazy.
scored 2 points for Duke.
3 points and 3 points, like they were just draining them left and right and like.
If he puts a hand in Austin Rivers' face, he probably doesn't make it.
Rivers is good and he deserved that three that he made. He deserved it.
Zeller had his hands down the entire time when Rivers was backing up.
He probably could have made it anyway.
But he probably could have. But if Zeller would have put his hands up, you know, chances are he wouldn't have made the shot.
Duke was ahead most of the first half too.
But yeah.
Look, Zeller did mess up with that free throw too, especially that
Yes.
could have just left the game tied. But you cannot take away what Rivers did in that game. Okay, guys, as we look ahead towards the end of the season, some conferences are fighting for the nod of best conference in college basketball right now. But Melissa, who do you give that nod to?
I would say the Big 12. If you look at the top 3 teams in the Big 12, you got Kansas, Missouri, and Baylor. And especially Missouri, you can't argue with how good of a team they are. Like,
very good.
No,
Missouri is dominant, and so is Kansas and Baylor for that matter. I mean, the only teams Baylor has lost to are Missouri and Kansas. So.
They are a very good conference. But after, you know, those 3, there's quite a bit of a drop-off. I like the Big Ten being the best conference. There's 5 teams in the top 25. Ohio State, Michigan State, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Think about how much Ohio State has dropped since the beginning of the year. They were ranked like 3rd, I think, and now they're
I think they're 6. I think there's 6 still.
Okay.
They just
Still
lost.
there.
They lost to Michigan State, a very good Michigan State team. So I mean, I think the Big Ten depth-wise.
Big 12.
Okay.
Interesting to see, absolutely. But both the teams with very good schools. I do like the top to bottom a little more in the Big Ten, but though those Big 12 top teams, very good as well. Now, guys, as we get ready for the last couple weeks of the season as well, Bracket Busters Week is coming up soon, and we're going to see some really good mid-majors facing off. George, what is your best matchup that you think is going to come up?
I know this game has lost a bit of luster, but I still like Murray State and St. Mary's. You know, every team is kind of allowed one fluke game, and I think this game for Murray State is really going to be kind of a what we can expect of them in March, come March in the tournament, because these are both going to be tournament teams, whether they win their conference tournament or not, and just
I know everyone favors Murray State because they're ranked, but overranked. I think overranked, but I like Creighton better. I know they're not ranked that high, but I think with Creighton, I think it's always an interesting game. Like they may have lost about 4 games. I know they just lost again, but Murray State did
they're on
just
a bit
lose.
of a slump too.
But
right now,
the team they're playing, Long Beach State, is #1 in their conference.
Yeah.
And I always think a game with Creighton is entertaining, and I think it'll be a lot more entertaining than a Murray State game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to see if we can get any possible Cinderellas, though, out of those matchups.
Never know.
There's a good chance, and
Never
it'd be
know.
fun to see one of them make that jump. All right, well, it's time for us to take another break, but when one-on-one returns, Jackson will be joined by our NBA experts to discuss how the Clippers will fare without Chauncey Billups. Stay tuned.
Some people told us that we didn't have enough energy and spirit on the show. I always thought we did, but I guess not. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring the Elon Phoenix mascot on the show and give us a little bit of energy. Pump us up.
All right, bud, I'm just going to put this microphone on you. All right, you're going to talk right in there to camera, too. Just going to read the words that come up. Let's see some emotion. All right, you're going to be great. All right, stand by.
Okay, everybody, we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, mic, and cue.
Oh, boy.
Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm now joined by Steve Normanton and Jason Vonik to talk some NBA. So, guys, first topic, obviously, Chauncey Billups, for those who haven't heard, torn Achilles out for the rest of the season. Where do we think the Clippers are going to go from here?
I mean, I think it's a big loss for them. Obviously, when you lose an NBA champion and 5-time All-Star, it's going to be tough. But they're in a lot better position than a lot of teams would be. They have Randy Foye and Mo Williams, very good guards who can back him up. And he's been his go-to guy his whole career, I guess. He doesn't have to be that way with Chris Paul. The guards can just step in and fill his role.
Another thing they have to think about is Chris Paul from a leadership standpoint. He's intense during the playoffs. That Lakers series a few years back, I've never seen a player, including Kobe Bryant, so intense. And with that determination, they can go places in the playoffs. And also another thing is J.R. Smith. I can see the Clippers getting this guy, and that's going to be exciting because he's another guy that can go up there and slam the ball down really hard.
And you still have Billups on the sideline. He can still help him with that leadership and Butler as well.
You can't forget they just signed a guy named Kenyon Martin.
Oh, yeah.
So the depth is clearly there, and we'll see what happens with J.R. Smith and whatnot. So it will be fun to see regardless. Now, the next topic, getting off of the Clippers, it's very simple. Rookie of the Year. Who do you guys have?
I've got Kyrie Irving. I mean, this guy is great. 18 points, 5 assists. His body work in the paint is amazing. He's finishing 65% at the rim. I mean, big men have trouble doing that. He just gets up there and he puts the ball in the hole. He's single-handedly won
because he has the time. Here's the thing. I think Kyrie has had a wonderful season, but he was expected to do this. Ricky Rubio came into the season from the bench. When he started, 10 of their first 15 games with him starting point guard, they won.
But the Timberwolves haven't improved that much. I mean, you've seen such an improvement with the Cavs team this year,
actually,
as opposed to their record. I mean, what did they won 19 games the previous season. They've already won 11 this year. I mean, they're doing so much better, and it's all because of Kyrie Irving.
They are doing better, but Ricky Rubio, he makes everyone better on the floor, and they're actually allowing 12 less points per game as a team. And so when you have a guy that special who can contribute and make everyone better, you know you've got a guy that you want to keep for years.
Kyrie Irving's beating him in every statistic except assists.
I mean, that's not all about statistics. Ricky Rubio leads the entire league in 2.5 steals.
It's no question they're both great players, and they both have, I guess, different traits. So as the season goes, we'll continue to see where they pick up from there. So now, Jason, we'll leave this off with you. The dunk contest. Who do we want to see in there? It's always an interesting topic.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw a lot of guys in there, but I think Paul George from Indiana would be a really great fit for this. Indiana has been one of the biggest surprises of the entire NBA this year, and Paul George is one of their team leaders.
I'm tired of these guys that are like 6'8", 6'9", and I like the little guy, like Derrick Rose. He can get up there. He mistreats the rim. He like cocks the ball behind his neck and just slams it as hard as he can. I love that. And he does like creative dunks. I mean, I don't see that from Paul George. I mean, he had like a fast break dunk that was okay a few weeks ago.
He's just a very explosive guy. And the dunk contest is all about up-and-coming players, and he's one of those guys. I think if he was there, he'd really make All-Star Weekend a lot better.
We'll see. Both, without a doubt, would be unbelievable to see. Hopefully, if D. Rose is healthy, it would be nice if he would compete, but we'll see. It's time for us to take a quick timeout, but when one-on-one returns, Greg will be joined by our NFL experts to share with a little role-playing. Stay tuned.
Here at 101 Sports, we were having some problems with organization, so we decided to bring in Elon Club baseball pitcher Aaron Moser to help us out.
It's not working. Hey, can we get him another mic?
Hey, Aaron, grab me that mic.
We're gonna need another mic.
Welcome back to 101 Sports. I'm now joined by Joe DiRienzo and Kurt Lesson. So we're about to embark on a little experiment. We're going to attempt to go inside the minds of some of the top NFL free agents and their agents to determine where they're going to end up playing next season. Now, guys, we're going to take some of the NFL's elite free agents out there, and we're going to start with Matt Forte. Now, Joe, you are Matt Forte. Where do you want to end up next year?
See, I'm Matt Forte. I've had a couple of great years in Chicago. I deserve a contract, but I love it there. I really don't want to leave, but I feel like I have to. I mean, I want to go somewhere where I can get a fresh start with a good young quarterback wide receiver combo already in place on a competitive team. Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Wanting to go to Cincinnati.
In the past, no one has wanted to go to Cincinnati.
No, typically not.
But I want to be a part of that offense. I want Andy Dalton to look in the flats and see me. I'm going to go for 1,000 receiving and rushing yards next year in that kind of offense.
All right, Matt, as your agent, okay, I need to help guide you in this journey that we call life in the NFL. Now, I do agree you need to get out of Chicago. You need to get long gone from Chicago. The fact that you don't have a contract yet from that team is pathetic. They don't deserve you. You need out. But I understand the Bungles, you know, I guess you can call them the Bengals.
They're not the Bungles anymore.
They're finally good again.
Especially with Matt Forte there.
But listen, I understand that they have a hole at the running back position. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of places that else have holes. So you're right. I guess we're going to Cincinnati.
Let's go.
Interesting. Okay. Wow, Chicago's going to miss you, Matt. But, you know, if they put a low offer in there, they put an offer, are you going to think about it?
If they give me an offer, I may accept.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next player. Kurt, you're Deshaun Jackson, now Eagle receiver. Where are you going to play next year?
You know, agent, listen, you need to hear me out, okay? It's my time to shine, okay? Listen, I am sick
It's always your time to shine.
and tired
Shocker
of
from
Philadelphia.
Deshaun.
I am sick and tired of Philly. You know what? I'm sick of roly-poly Andy Reid looking over my shoulder all the time. I'm a grown man, all right? I don't need him to tell me what to do. I want to go to Miami. Beautiful weather, beautiful ladies. I understand there's no quarterback. I don't care. Me and B. Marshall, we're going to own that town.
All right, look. There's no quarterback in Miami
So what?
as of
I don't
right
need a
now.
quarterback. I don't need a quarterback. Have you seen my speed?
I'm Drew Rosenhaus. I'm going to fix your image problem right now.
What
because
image?
I don't know if everybody just
realize you
watched
have an
that
image
that
problem?
just happened, but we're going to New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Because in New Orleans, you're in a dome. Your speed plus turf plus Drew Brees' arm.
But the weather in Miami, the beautiful ladies.
The weather in New Orleans.
I do like
You got
it.
Mardi Gras every year if you live there.
All right, I can go with Mardi Gras.
Drew Rosenhaus selling point right there.
That's why Rosenhaus is a good agent right there. I'll tell you that for sure. All right, let's move on to our next player. Joe, you're Mario Williams, Super Mario. Where you ended up, Houston, or are you going elsewhere?
I don't want to play in a 3-4. I don't. I'm a good defensive end. I want to go somewhere that plays a 4-3 that needs a strong pass rusher and it's going to win a championship or maybe a deep run in the playoffs. I'm going to Tennessee. Because Tennessee has the second most cap room in all of the NFL. I know I'm going to get paid if I go there.
You know what, Mario, you're right. Money does talk. And as your agent, I love when you get money because I get money. I love that. But listen, my only issue is I don't like country music, okay? I'm feeling, listen, I got to think with the one brother, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great.
I don't want to keep losing.
Hey, listen, great young quarterback, great young defense. You could be the catalyst of that defense for years to come. The Ravens. You could be like the Ravens are right now. You could be Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis-esque.
I'm not going to Tampa. There's no fan base there. Why do I want to be in Tampa?
There's pretty ladies, Mario.
And besides, I don't want to go to London every year.
Big Ben clock.
Hey,
Big Ben
Big Ben clock doesn't interest me that much.
I don't know where the selling point is on London as much, but it sounds like Mario, you're fine with just leaving Houston after one of the best seasons there?
I mean, I was fine with being on the team. It was a great team, don't get me wrong.
The fact that you haven't got a contract, that's wrong. That's wrong.
That's true. It's true.
wrong.
All right, moving on to our last player. Titans cornerback Cortland Finnegan. Kurt, where's he ended up?
Well, my first thought was, as Cortland, I really wanted to go to Houston. I just wanted to fight more people like Andre Johnson. But I figured the bridge might be burned there. I think I'm going to stay in Tennessee. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, actually, someone's going to stay?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I want to stay in Tennessee. Hey, they got money. They got money that they can give me.
They know how difficult it is to find a great corner, especially in a division with a quarterback like Peyton Manning. Granted, he may not be there, but you know what? Andrew Luck was doing the next great thing if they go that route. I think I'm the most valuable player for the Titans, and they're going to pay me.
Now, I'm Drew Rosenhaus again. I got lucky. You've got the best agent in football right now. So Tennessee's a great option for you right now. They've got the money. They've got the position need.
I love money.
It's a great spot. I could also see you going to St. Louis.
Why? Tell me why.
Because in St. Louis,
why do I want to go to St. Louis?
They have just enough cap room, I think, to get you, and you get reunited with your old coach, Jeff Fisher. And they know they need a corner because right now, Rod Hood's their number one.
I mean, I am pretty awesome.
That is true. You would be in demand there, that's for sure, Cortland. Well, guys, that was interesting. We'll see if any of those moves pay off next season after a fun offseason for sure. Well, it's time for us to step away once again, but when one-on-one returns, Jackson will sit down with our MLB experts to discuss who is better first baseman, Pujols or Fielder. Stick around.
Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm now joined by two men who live for the crack of the bat, Matt Curry and Christian Binder. Now, Christian, we'll lead off with you. A city that's gone, I guess, under some overhaul this offseason has been both Chicago teams. So this question, which manager will do better for which side?
Well, Jackson, you got it right on there. There's the winds of change have blown in the Windy City. So Dale Swaim has come into Chicago. He knows the division, coming from Milwaukee. He's going to be with the Cubs. I guess I should mention that.
Yes.
Theo Epstein, new GM in Chicago. He's set up this team. Not really a whole lot of overhaul. You got a good mix of youth in Anthony Rizzo, Darwin Barney, and Starlin Castro, and you got some wily veterans.
That's all they have, though. That's not a good team. Robin Ventura is going into a White Sox team that has done well over the past couple of years, and now. I mean, it's the Cubs. Are you kidding me? You can't make an argument that the Cubs haven't been relevant for 20 years.
Who I love to hate. I hate
Robin
Kenny
Ventura
Williams.
was a player, and now
he
has
zero managerial experience.
No experience, Curry. It doesn't matter. He's been a player.
Kenny Williams has stripped that team down. He got rid of all their good pieces, and he left them with nothing. A guy with no managerial experience. He has nothing to work with in Chicago.
I still think he's going to be a better manager than you're going to have in the Cubs organization.
Dale Swaim.
No.
Well, we'll see. Both teams have had their fair share of failure over the years, so we'll see. Two interesting situations there. So, Matt, we'll move it over to you. Now, this has been a question that everybody's been asking this offseason. Which deal was better, Prince Fielder or Albert Pujols?
Albert Pujols, by far, I think, because the fact is you're bringing in one of the biggest names in Major League Baseball right now, one of the biggest revenue players, one of the best players on the field at all times, no matter where he's playing, and he deserved that contract more than Prince Fielder did.
But here's the big deal here.
That's right.
Albert Pujols is 32 years old. He's not getting any younger.
Okay.
Prince Fielder is 29. He'll be 29 this year. Fielder got less years, 9, to Pujols' 10, and less money. But here's really, to me, the telling stat. Over the last 4 years, Prince Fielder's on-base percentage has been trending up. He's gone from 372 to 4 in 2007 to 415. No. It does matter because Albert Pujols in 2007 had 462 on base, and last year was down to 366, and it's gone down every year since then. 100-point difference for a guy who's supposed to be your first baseman for 10 years.
He is still helping his team win. Albert Pujols has won championships. Prince Fielder has not brought his team to a championship series yet.
The Brewers.
It's the Brewers. It's the Cardinals. Nobody picked them to win last year, and yet they still won it.
And they won it before. I'm not saying that Albert Pujols is a bad player, but over the next 9-10 years, Fielder is going to be the better platter.
We'll see.
He deserved that contract.
We will see. I think marketing-wise, Pujols to the Angels makes a lot of sense, but baseball-wise, it might be Fielder with the better deal. So our last question. Christian, who's got the best rotation going into spring training?
I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and shock some people with the Washington Nationals.
I like that.
Oh, they're very young and they're very, very good. Steven Strasburg coming off of Tommy John surgery. It's not like he couldn't throw 100 miles an hour before. Now he's got a fake elbow where he can do whatever he wants. Gio Gonzalez, so great a pitcher from Oakland that they basically stole because that's what Billy Beane likes to do. He's gone every year. Wins have gone up. ERA's gone down. That's what you like to see. Now he's in the National League without a DH. Then you got Jordan Zimmerman coming a year off of Tommy John surgery. He pitched fantastic last year. You get number 4.
I'm gonna cut you off there, and I'm gonna bring it into my team. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Not a lot of people know this team, especially because they're out west. but they've got a great rotation. Ian Kennedy and
Former Yankee prospect.
Daniel Hudson, as
Former
well as
White
bringing
Sox
in
prospect.
Trevor Cahill. That's a huge boost. That's something that rivals the San Francisco Giants and the Phillies as far as the rotation goes in the National League. So I think they've got one of the best rotations.
Easy with the
there.
Phillies comparison there. But one more name I want to throw out really quick.
Yes.
Ross Detweiler, possibly the most underrated number 5 starter. He's very young. He's very good. Watch out for Ross Detweiler in 2012.
Well, it'll be interesting to see a lot of up-and-coming teams this year, including those that you guys just mentioned. It's time for us to take our final break, but when we return, Greg and I will sit down and discuss who we would like to see announcing a game's starting lineup. I promise you will not want to miss this.
Actor and funny man Will Ferrell recently announced both the Chicago Bulls and New Orleans Hornets starting lineups, and this naturally got us thinking about who we would most like to see as a guest announcer for starting lineups. Jackson, if you could pick one person, who would it be?
This is a little bit off the beaten path, we'll leave it at that, but I would go with Rip Torn, who if people are not familiar with his brilliant work,
he's
he recently, well, not recently, but he played Patches O'Houlihan in Dodgeball.
Dive, duck, dip, dive, and
dodge. That's right. It's the blunt humor. I can't quote anything that he says on this television show.
No, he can't.
I cannot. So, but for those who have seen Dodgeball, they're aware of what the kind of humor that he brings.
Exactly.
I just feel like the stuff that he could add in, like Will Ferrell did at the Bulls game, I feel like he could add in some very intriguing things nonetheless.
The way that he would approach it would be absolutely hysterical, and his voice, his delivery would be dead on. See,
I just thinking about it.
It'd be amazing. I would absolutely love to see it.
So who do you have?
All right, well, my guy, I hate to say this, but it would have been Will Ferrell. Everything Will Ferrell does is fantastic. So that's a cop-out for me to say him again, because we've all seen how excellent that was. So I'm going to challenge Will to get to one of his old SNL roles. And he would announce him as Will Ferrell as Chicago Cubs broadcaster Harry Carey. You cannot tell me, if you've never seen Space, the Infinite Frontier with Chicago Cubs broadcaster Harry Carey, that you would not love to see him say that. The guy is absolutely hysterical. The little head nod, the back and forth that he goes. I can't do the voice because I wouldn't do it justice, but it is hysterical. For him to announce the guys, he would be bringing back Michael Jordan, and then I guarantee he would still get him anyway.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's one of those classic guys who you just love to. You watch the game, the Cubs game, even if they're not even good, just to hear him talk.
Yeah. Harry Carey was a legend. You know, he's not around, obviously, but that's why you have to have Will Ferrell come back and do it. The guy's hysterical, too. And when Ferrell actually did the reads, so amazing. His favorite movie's The Notebook, Derrick Rose. Like, it was amazing to get to hear that kind of stuff.
I want to see if teams do explore this more in the future.
I wouldn't be surprised by it, especially the way that it's drawn attention to the Hornets, who can't get attention anywhere else.
Exactly.
It'd be funny to see.
If nothing else, it puts butts in the crowd.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. That's all the time we have for today, but make sure to watch us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter.
For all of our producers and crew here at the show, we thank you for watching One-on-One Sports. And until next time, whose side are you on?
Happy Valentine's Day, Greg.
Oh, Jackson, you remembered.
Of course. I never forget.
Chocolates, my favorite.
Oh, the best. Only the best for you.
This is why we're friends.
I know.
I got my gift in the car. I swear.
Perfect. All right, as long as you have it for me.
I just got to run to the store first off, and
to the store.
I'm totally not forgetting that anything whatsoever. I'm looking